Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Prep Sports America. I'm Rich Estrella, and joining us now is Steve Calhoun from the Change the Game Foundation, excellent quarterback and receivers and position coach. Steve, thank you for joining us again tonight.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you for having me on again.
Steve, love your insight, man. You're a guy out there, you know a lot of these kids, you coach them, and you know what's going on. So let's talk about it. Last week, the biggest game in the nation, of course, was Bosco and Mater Dei. It was at St. John Bosco. And going into that game, just looking on paper, it just seemed like this year Bosco was going to have their way. I mean, they've been dominating opponents, and I thought this would be no different. Mater Dei seems to be struggling, but man, that's not what happened.
I think, and this is one reason why I do not bet at all. Whether it's playing checkers or hopscotch or going to Vegas, I don't bet on football, basketball, baseball, anything. And that's why they play the games, because nobody thought that Mater Dei would have this upset last weekend.
Yeah, much less cover the spread. Just joking, man, if we were talking in that regard. But no, Bosco was favored by quite a bit, and everybody could see why. They were just been humming. But, you know, when it comes to these two teams, Mater Dei and St. John Bosco, you could just throw everything out the window. I mean, everything, man. When that week of that game, you may as well start from scratch, because this is what we end up seeing. It's never what we expect. Not always.
You know, I mean, I think the kids at Mater Dei, you know, they've been hearing all the talk like, hey, you guys are not that good. Hey, you guys lost to Santa Margarita. Hey, you guys lost to Corona Centennial. You guys are not that good. And then those guys just kind of, puffed their chest out and said, hey, we're about to show you. And that's exactly what happened. So I think they have the ability to turn it on and turn it off just based on how interested they all are in the game that they're playing or the opponent that they're playing against.
Every season has a turning point for teams, and I think this is even though it was the last game of the year, that's going to be the switch for Mater Dei. They know they can beat the best, and they did it. But now they have to do it. They're more than likely going to have to do it again. I think there's only one team from the Trinity League, you're right, that did not make it. But let's talk about the ones that did. You know, Bosco's got Olu this week. They beat them 48-0 the first time. I don't expect any different. And the games are going to be played. They won't be played this week and be played the following week. They get a bye because there's only 8 teams. And let me tell you something. There's nobody in Division II that wanted to go up and play with these guys either. At the end of the day, no.
Yeah, 5 Trinity League schools, Sierra Canyon, Mission Viejo, and then and Corona Centennial. So I mean, I talked to crazy thing is, Rich, I talked to Chad Johnson yesterday, and he was like, dude, I'm having sleepless nights.
Of course he is.
He's like, dude, like, how do we stop these guys? He goes, we're thinking they're down. They got a couple of losses. And he goes, dude, they just absolutely, came up and beat Bosco when everybody thought that they couldn't. He goes, dude, we're just a public school. Chad's like, we're just a public school. But he has a guy going to Miami and quarterback going to Ohio State. He has some dudes now. He's kind of crying the river a little bit like, hey, Justin Timberlake. But hey, man, he got some dudes. I think it's going to be an unbelievable game because there's talent matching talent, coaches matching coaching. I'm looking forward to that game next week.
Well, let's face it, Mission Viejo and Corona Centennial, the 2 top public schools in Southern California. Matter of fact, probably the whole state. And matter of fact, probably the whole country. Because right now, there's 2 different polls out. You got Corona Centennial at number 2 and number 5. So somebody really, really likes Corona Centennial. And it wasn't too long ago, Matt Logan used to be a perennial CIF champion in Southern California. Defeated Bosco Mater Dei back-to-back years for CIF titles, and ever since then it's been Bosco Mater Dei Bosco, and it's just been that way. It's the way it is, man. But that'll be an interesting game. Now, as far as Mater Dei Mission Viejo goes, I do expect this. Like Johnson's having sleepless nights, and what does he do? If this was baseball, it'd be very simple: hit them where they ain't. It's the old saying, but in football, it's not that simple. You've got a lot more moving parts, but. I just think that, as we said a minute ago, the switch turned on for Mater Dei, and it's not going to bode well for Mission Viejo, unfortunately.
The quarterback from Mission Viejo, Luke Fairley, he's playing really, really well. I mean, played against Los Alamitos a week ago. I think he threw for 570 yards. He's an Ohio State commit. And Coach Johnson talks
everybody.
about, he said he is an unbelievable kid, unbelievable leader. He said he's the type of kid that, hey, when they have, a function where they all go out and eat, he's the guy that picks up all the extra trash and make sure it's thrown away, make sure that the place is left the way they found it,
The little things, the little things.
He said that's what, type of kid he is, and I think that's going to come into play because he's going to be able to execute all the little details that Coach Johnson wants him to execute during that Mater Dei game.
Well, everybody's got a shot from the outset. It always starts 0-0, and then we think we know what's going to happen, but we don't bet. So I just think that one is going to be closer than we think. And then Centennial, they're in the other game against Servite, and I just don't think Servite is going to have a chance against Corona right now. They're playing really good football. They just really are.
Yeah, but the thing is like, hey, Servite is they're tested. They went through that Trinity League.
Sure, they did.
Schedule. They went through the rigors and all that stuff, that Trinity League. So hey, Servite High School, hey, they're going to come out, do the hut drill, wear all black. They're going to be ready to go. You can never doubt Servite. They have a young sophomore quarterback, but he's going to be ready to go again because he had to play the Mater Deis, the Boscos.
Yes, he did.
The J. Sarahs, the Santa Margaritas, and the whole Luz. Yes, he did. So I think they're going to be ready. But hey, I cannot wait to see all those games play out and see who comes out on top.
The only thing you can base it on is when Corona played Mater Dei and they beat them. I mean, and they scored. Well, they scored 43 on them or something like that.
Exactly.
They scored a lot of points. And,
scored a lot of points. Absolutely.
Fared nearly as well against Mater Dei, so that's why I say that. But that's why we play the game 0-0 from the start.
That's exactly right.
See what happens. Hey, Division 2, real quick. The way I see it, I mean, we looked at that division. It's black and blue all over. But at the end of the day, the way Los Alaminos is playing, and your Belinda for that matter, I think that's a terrible first-round matchup for both those schools. It just is, man, because they could probably beat most of the people in their bracket, if not all of them, but one of them is going to be out.
Okay, hey, you're leaving out Tustin, Green Lutheran?
Oh, no. I'm talking upper bracket only. Upper bracket.
Oh, okay, I got
lower bracket. All I have is Green Lutheran. All I have is Green Lutheran. So I'm looking at it this way. I'm looking at it, and I hate to say it's that first round, but it just seems like Green Lutheran is gonna win that bottom half, or should, and in the upper half, and I know Tustin's sitting there, and I know Tustin's really good, but it's just hard to bet against Los Al and Yorba Linda. Those guys have been very good for a long time. Tustin comes and goes. Right now, they're here. They came.
I can't remember the score of that Los Al Mission Viejo game. I don't know, it was like 65-52 or something like that.
Yeah, it was 49. It was 49, I believe, 49-48 in the fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter. And then Mission Viejo scored 21 points, man. They just 3 touchdowns, baby.
Unbelievable.
It is.
This is my sleeper in the top half of that bracket. Corona Del Mar. That's my sleeper. Hey, they play. I was at the game last week against Yorba Linda. Won it to overtime. Yorba Linda pulled it out. But they have some very, very special players at Corona Del Mar. The quarterback Brady Annette. They have 3 unbelievable receivers. And then Coach Heddick, man, he can dial it up. Every year he has his kids ready to play at a very high level. They went 9-1. I thought they should have won that game last week, but that is, they're going to open up against Marietta Valley, who's the number 1 seed in that group up there, and they have some guys, but it's going to be exciting.
There's just, what's good about it, and we've talked about this, and I went back when former commissioner Robbie Wygod talked to Robbie about this. I said, Robbie, your legacy will be that you fix the playoffs. Because in the old days, man, we weren't even looking at the first round. Really, we're not. There was a lot of 70-0, 68-0. I mean, people were getting blown out. First round was just an afterthought, and then things would tighten up. But you know what? Since they changed it and went to the ranking system and the point system, going through Cal Preps and all that, man, all these games are good. You cannot not look at that first round.
Absolutely. No, I mean, hey, shout out to Rob Wygod. You know, he's not the commissioner anymore, but hey, he left a lasting impression of, hey, you know, hey, this is how it should be. Competitive games in the first round. And that's what we're all looking for. We're looking at the best of the best. You know, we went through the whole regular season, and now these are the best teams who should be playing against each other. And I'm looking forward to those first round matchups. You know, definitely, you know, from Division 2 to what we have, 14 other divisions.
Yeah, 14.
Division 1 gets, get a little, they get a week off, but
yep, they do.
It's going to be exciting.
Next week we'll talk about more divisions. So obviously, everybody will play, things will get pared down, and we can, you know, talk more about it. We're just limited time. Hey, real quick, getting your thoughts on the girls' flag football. Man, I didn't know it was this weekend. I mean, I've been following it.
Okay.
I knew there was a couple of weeks after Beckman had lost to Westlake, but man, it went fast. It just went fast.
Yes,
so here we are. Orange Lutheran trying to repeat as CIF champion. What do you think?
I gotta go back. You know, hey, they're the defending champions,
right?
I gotta
national champions.
National champions.
Yeah,
I mean,
big
they
game
have
last year.
A lot of great players, a lot of great coaching over there. I predict for them to come up with a championship again.
Yeah, the quarterback was player of the year last year, only a junior this year, and back to the promised land. And they've been dominating. They're not just winning, you know, just winning. They're dominating people. They're putting up 42 a night.
Exactly.
So that's going to be good. Shout out to Serna High School. Serna High has made it there. Dylan Long is the head coach. You remember his brother Owen a couple years ago was player of the year for Serna High School football, and his other brother I think was a baseball. He's player of the year, and the quarterback there is a junior, Grady Long. He's the quarterback. So it's a long story, as you can tell. But you know, it's good to see he's back there coaching, giving back, and he's got his girls in the CIF finals this year. So great for Serna. So hey, one last thing. Game of the week I'm going to be covering this week is going to be Friday night. Western Christian Bell Gardens. My Lord, who would have thought those two teams would have ever met? Western Christian coming on 10-0. Man, you know, for a small school, they got a lot of dudes. They got a lot of big dudes on that line. But Bell Gardens has a couple of big guys too, and this game's going to be nuts. It's just going to be nuts. So looking forward to covering that one. That'll be coming back as our game of the week. We won't televise it, but there'll be a big highlight reel afterward and interviews and everything else like we normally do. So that'll be a good one. Steve, thanks a ton for coming on tonight, man, and talking about some of this high school football stuff. You know, it's that time of year, so
it is.
Gotta lock in and see what we're looking at the next couple weeks.
It's November. Thanksgiving's coming up in a few weeks, and that's when you'll know who's playing in the finals, because it's always like, hey, if you're practicing on Thanksgiving, then you made it to the finals. So that's a good deal.
All right, Steve, thanks a bunch, man. We'll be talking.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Rich, for having me on, bud.